Imagine dodging pigs in the streets while foul-smelling carts trundle past, collecting human waste for midnight dumping. In the 1400s, cities treated this as business as usual. Normal life meant open sewers, bloodletting by moon phase, and markets so chaotic, even geese could be thieves. What if the fragile order holding it all together collapsed? The mayhem of the 1400s has to be seen to be believed. And the daily perils of the 1500s? That's even stranger. By midnight, Thomas the gong firmer is already at work. In the pitch-dark lanes, he hauls a wooden cart piled with slop buckets, each one heavier than the last. His job is to collect the city's waste before sunrise, dragging it through alleys and across slick cobblestones. The stench is so thick it clings to his clothes, following him home long after the sun comes up. London's 1407 dumping ban was supposed to keep filth out of the streets, but enforcement is a joke. Most nights, Thomas dumps his load at the edge of town, one of many lay stalls meant to keep the worst smells away from the markets. Sometimes, though, the barrels end up in the Thames, polluting the same river where people draw their water. When the plague returns, the city has only one answer: dig another pit. Archaeologists at East Smithfield have uncovered layers of mass graves, packed with victims from the 1400s, their bones still bearing the marks of pestilence. For Thomas, every shift is a gamble. The pay is decent, but one misstep and he could end up buried in the very pits he helps fill. Elric wakes to the sound of his master sharpening razors. In this shop, a striped pole stands outside, signaling both haircuts and surgery. Today's first patient sits gripping a wooden pole, eyes fixed on the ceiling, while Elric's master consults a chart covered in stars and zodiac signs. The moon is in Taurus. No neck incisions today, the almanac warns. Instead, a vein in the arm is chosen. Aelric hands over a basin and watches as a leech is coaxed from its brass jar, pressed to the skin until it latches on. The minutes crawl by as blood pools, the patient pale but silent. Once the leech drops, a bandage is tied, and the master turns to his shelf of remedies. For fever, he mixes rosemary with a pinch of mercury, a recipe copied from a well-thumbed manuscript. The patient drinks, grimaces, pays, and leaves, convinced that humours have been set right. By noon, Elric is scrubbing blood from the floor, already dreading the next round. In this world, the stars and a barber's steady hand decide who walks home and who doesn't. By sunrise, the market is already a riot of noise and feathers. Pigs root through cabbage leaves, snouts slick with mud, while geese waddle between stalls, honking at anyone who blocks their path. Traders shout over the din, trying to keep customers' attention and their own goods in sight. It is not just the animals causing trouble. A deft hand can lift a coin purse or slip a wedge of cheese into a sleeve before anyone notices. The shambles in York is famous for this chaos, with butchers dumping scraps that draw every stray dog and pig for miles. One trader, elbows deep in a barrel of salted herring, barely glances up as a goose nips at his heel. He's seen worse. The city council posts fines for letting animals run loose, 4 pence if your goose ruins a wool bale, more if a pig bites a child. Still, most complaints end up ignored or lost in the shuffle. The market's pulse is wild, unpredictable, and no one expects order. Here, a missing loaf or a trampled stall is just the price of doing business. A wooden frame stands in the centre of Cheapside, its iron hinges creaking as another offender is forced into place. The pillory is meant to shame, to be a spectacle. A baker caught selling short-weight loaves, a butcher accused of watering wine. His wrists and neck are locked tight, his face exposed to a crowd hungry for spectacle. By mid-morning, the market stalls empty as traders and apprentices rush to watch. Jeers echo off the stone walls. Rotten turnips fly, sometimes worse. Children laugh, old women curse. For hours, business grinds to a halt, carts cannot pass, deals are forgotten, and the city's pulse stalls. Court rolls from 1450 list fines for merchants who abandon their stalls, but no one cares when there is a show. The spectacle does not always end with humiliation. In the chaos of Jack Cade's rebellion, London's streets become a battlefield. 5,000 rebels pour through the gates, dragging officials from their homes. Pillories and scaffolds are repurposed, no longer tools of order, but platforms for vengeance. Chronicles record rebels parading the severed heads of Lord Say and others through the market, the crowds swelling until trade stops for days. The city's rulers watch from behind bolted doors, anxious as the line between justice and riot blurs. In these moments, the crowd holds real power, not the council. The pillory promises order, but it unleashes something far less predictable, reminding everyone that civic peace depends on more than iron and oak. In the back room of the cloth merchant's house, a boy named Will stands at the loom. His fingers raw from hours of carding wool. He is 14, halfway through a 7-year contract that binds him to his master by law and custom. The guild statutes spell it out. An apprentice must obey every order, rise before dawn, and never speak back. If Will's work is sloppy, or he is caught dozing, his master reaches for the birch rod, never thicker than a man's thumb, as the 1483 ordinance insists. The threat is not idle. Guild records from York and London show boys flogged for tardiness, mistakes, or even a poorly tied shoelace. There is no appeal, no hiding a bruise. A master's word is law inside these walls. Discipline shapes every hour, but so does appearance. Sumptuary laws dictate what Will can wear, down to the thread. Velvet is forbidden, reserved for nobles and wealthy merchants. Even the color of his hood is set by statute. No crimson or purple, only dull brown or grey. The rules are as much about keeping apprentices in their place as they are about order. A fine for a flash of silk, a beating for a torn sleeve. The guild's power is private and relentless, enforced behind closed doors. For Will, every day is a lesson in hierarchy, his future measured in lashes and the cut of his coat. The world outside may riot or rebel, but inside the shop, the old order holds fast, at least for now. On the feast day of Corpus Christi, the city grinds to a halt. Bells ring out before dawn, calling every household to line the streets as the clergy process beneath banners, swinging incense and carrying relics said to heal the sick or shield against plague. Behind them, guilds march in order, bakers in white aprons, butchers with painted carts, each group pausing as the host passes, heads bowed. Shop doors are locked, looms stand idle, and even the market animals are corralled for the day. By midsummer, nearly 60 days each year are lost to ritual, woven into civic calendars that leave little room for ordinary work. In 1487, a new kind of authority arrives, a printed book called Malleus Maleficarum, its title page fresh from the press. Whispers of witches and demons begin to spread, no longer confined to rumor or procession, but carried on ink and paper, ready to reshape belief in ways no relic ever could. In a workshop in Mainz, sheets of parchment clatter as movable type is set row by row. By the mid-1450s, Gutenberg's press produced the first 42-line Bibles, each copy more precise and plentiful than anything hand scribes could manage. News of this invention spreads along trade routes carried by merchants from the Hanseatic League. Their ships, over 200 a year, crisscross the Baltic, hauling grain, furs, and now bundles of printed pamphlets. Lübeck, Gdansk, and Bruges pulse with new ideas and goods, their docks crowded with barrels and bales. The hum of commerce grows louder, and with every shipment, the old boundaries of knowledge and trade begin to blur. For the first time, information and merchandise travel faster than rumor, reshaping what daily life can mean for anyone within reach of a port or a press. Centuries later, The chaos of daily life is unthinkable. Yet societies still adapt, improvise, and survive upheaval. Each age calls its own normal. What seems bizarre now may someday be routine. History's next twist is always just around the corner. What would shock us about the 1500s?